What's up, everyone? Got a physical media video for you today. I know it's been a while since I did a physical media one, and I recently just picked up this film and wanted to talk it up. I've seen this film a few times already, but today we're going to talk about Godzilla Minus One, the Blu-ray, go over this bad boy, and then talk about this film and why I think this is an absolute freaking masterpiece of a Godzilla film. So you're going to hear some really great positives today about this film. Let's do this. Roll it. So Takashi Yamazaki's Godzilla Minus One came out in 2023. This film absolutely just took the world by storm and was absolutely, for me, one of the greatest films that came out that year, especially being the fact that this film took Godzilla back to its roots of being a fearful actual monster, more of a representation of like the nuclear war and the bombs that were going on in Hiroshima at that time. So this film is very much a somber and sad film. It's rooted in tragedy and stuff like this. So this isn't like one of your happy-go-lucky type, Heisei or Toho era type films, you know what I mean? Like, this is definitely one that takes it back to the roots of what Godzilla used to be and everything. And that's what I mean. For me, this one is really just the most terrifying, one of the most terrifying versions, I think, of Godzilla I've ever seen. And come to find out that this won Best Visual Effects at the Academy Awards. They ended up taking that crown, and they got this done for pennies on the dollar compared to what most films are made for nowadays. Like, we have big budget blockbuster Marvel and DC films that cost, upwards of $100 million to $200 million. And this one, like I said, chump change compared to that. And it looks freaking gorgeous for real. Like, the Godzilla design is terrifying, it's scary, it's monstrous, but also the effects of the city and the way it looks when he's attacking. Oof, like I said, you're on the edge of your seat this whole time for this one. I also like the fact that this one uses its human characters to a really good aspect. For me, I love the fact that it kind of brings them together. You know what I mean? It's a post-war Japan. Everything's kind of destroyed and everybody's distraught and sad. And this monster, Godzilla right here, ends up bringing the whole country together because they have to bind together and join together to tackle this monstrous threat so they can survive and go on, you know what I mean? Because he's just terrorizing them. So I think that is amazing. The characters in here, the character work, the acting, it's just something that I really care about, and it does pull on my heartstrings a little bit because I am a father. I'm a father of 2 daughters and a son, and just that whole thing with him kind of taking in the girl, the little baby, and them trying to, just live a life and make amends and make it normal again. It just really does pull on my heartstrings. And like I said, this film has some of the best character human work outside of, the monster action, as most people would say. I know an argument that I could understand is that people would say this isn't their type of Godzilla film. If you are more of the more Heisei and Toho era and more of that cheesy type Godzilla stuff, and you like that, that's fine. Like I said, I've seen most of the Godzilla films, from Godzilla Final Wars to Godzilla vs. Mothra, Godzilla vs. Hedorah, like Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. Like, I've seen a plethora of them, even the American ones, Godzilla X Kong and New Empire, and we have another one coming out, I think in 2027 also. There's another one coming out in that franchise. But Godzilla Minus One, for real, will stand the test of time for me because it is very strong. And I'm telling you right now, from someone who has seen all those Godzilla films, this is easily in the top 5 and one of the greatest Godzilla films that's ever touched this planet Earth. It's a complete masterpiece. So let's show off this bad boy right here. Like I said, I just got the simple Blu-ray. It would have been cool if it came with the slip, but like I said, I know I'm trying not to catch the reflection of the light and everything. There's your back piece right there. But for real, all these characters, all these moments, so emotional. Like, for real, I got teary-eyed and, emotional at multiple points in this film. I love the fact that we have disc art. Having the disc art is really cool. And we have bonus material on here. There is bonus features, so that's exciting as well. We have commentaries and special features for Godzilla Minus One, number 30. So that's really cool. We have visual effects behind the scenes, event video collection, also the Tokyo International Film Festival opening at the red carpet. So not a huge bonus feature list, but this isn't just a minimum bare bones release. There is stuff on here. And like I said, going in the theaters, this was such a theater experience because I took my wife, the kids, my son was there. My son actually got really emotional for this one because I kind of made the mistake of taking him not knowing that I've only shown him Godzilla films where Godzilla is kind of the hero or the anti-hero in the film. He's never actually seen a film where Godzilla is portrayed as straight up just the antagonist. So it actually kind of took him by surprise and freaked him out a little bit, and he got very emotional. But we ended up buying it, and like I said, my son loves this film now. We're just huge kaiju fans. We love Gamera and Godzilla, all those kind of films. It just hits right on home for me and my kids and stuff like that. But this one, for me, I think will stand the test of time and will always be in the top dog. And I can't really understand any arguments besides the fact that, like, this is not your Godzilla film. If you don't like subtitles, you know what I mean? If you're not, like, into the more emotionally potent and more, like, horror kind of driven Godzilla films, then that I could understand why this isn't your jam. You know what I mean? That's probably the only argument I can understand. But in terms of an actual film, structure, characters, and visual effects, yes, this film is a complete masterpiece. And like I said, one of the best Godzilla films that's ever existed. And I can't wait for the sequel because I think we heard that Takashi is going to be doing a sequel to this film. Because, spoiler alert, there is kind of like an ending sequence, where you see Godzilla kind of forming and morphing back, and, he's going to come back. We love that factor. So, yeah, for me, it just will always be one of those films. I'll cherish that theater experience. I'm going to love revisiting this film. It is an emotionally potent one, like I said, so this isn't like a fun return kind of watch film. This is one that you kind of get invested in those characters, and you got to get dragged into the story and stuff like that. But, yeah, definitely for me in my top 5, which one day I'm thinking about doing a Godzilla ranking, but I really want to refresh my memory and rewatch them. And I haven't seen every Godzilla film. I've seen a good amount. I've seen like 20 or 21 of them, but I think there's 30 plus. I can't remember the exact number, but there's like 30 plus Godzilla films. I've seen around like 20 or 21, something like that. So thanks for sticking around with me all for this video. Please like the video. That definitely helps out the channel. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and have that notification bell poked and on so anytime I drop a video, you don't want to miss a video. But most importantly, I want y'all to have a safe and happy day. Peace out.